Guy takes advantage of kind special needs person and becomes homeless by knee pain. Sorry about formatting and spelling, I'm on mobile and I'm just stupid lol. EU equals entitled worker, AG equals awesome guy, D equals my dad. This is not my story but my dad's. So my dad is the manager of security at a big electric company. He often hires and fires people, but he hates firing people because my dad used to be a cop and hates seeing people homeless. This comes into play. So about a month ago D hired a worker with mild special needs, AG, but was one of the best people he has ever hired. D said he never failed to complete a task successfully, hasn't missed a day of work and shows up every day on time with a smile. D loves him. But D also has another employee, EU. EU seems to think that his job is meant for his coworkers and for him to play games and watch porn on his computer at work. So AG's main job is to check people in and out of the complex's front gate, check IDs, inspect unknown people's vehicles, etc. But EO is right after him on their rotation, so as AG is leaving EO is stepping in. One night as AG is leaving, EO says to AG, "Hey, I have a family emergency and need to go, could you cover?" AG, enthusiastically, "Of course." AG loved helping people and didn't mind staying later as he didn't have any plans. Nothing's wrong, right? Nope, greater than. EU every day would have a new excuse on why he couldn't stay late, and every day AG would be happy to help. Well, one day when D and AG were eating lunch together, these grown men exclude him like 5-year-olds, but D likes to be his buddy, which is hard because my dad, although kind-hearted, doesn't like speaking too much. AG told him how he had helped EU all week and was proud of his help but concerned for EU and how many family emergencies he had. D was taken back by this. D saw EU at the bar 2 times this week and other days saw his FB posts about him at his girlfriend's house. D, oh boy, was steaming. D is a giant guy, 6'6", 250 pounds, ex-cop with some toned muscles. He scares the shit out of me even when I drop food by accident, but he's a funny guy. Smile. So you can see how the career in D's field went. Not only did he get fired for taking advantage of coworkers and leaving on company hours, but when searching his desk for stolen property, D saw a porn notification on his computer and that pushed him to fire him. Apparently, this was the job keeping his head above water in rent and was now homeless because of him getting fired. D heard about this and is still very upset. He is out on the streets, but I like to think he's suffering and starving. AG often comes over for dinner and he loves my birds. AG got a raise and a promotion. He is an awesome guy. Hypocritical or Revenge by Grouchy Connection 7. I go to a private, Catholic and nightmare of a school, and in every school there's always that one kid. Let's call him Chad or C for short. I'm sure we all know that kid. He gains your trust and blackmails you. He pretends to be your friend and you're too gullible to understand they're not. All the girls like him because he's handsome. Typical Chad BS. Now I think I might be stupid because I went to pick up my homework I forgot at school and I saw Chad. He blackmailed me before and I knew not to trust him, but something made it so I wanted to tell him my crush so he could help me boost my confidence. This made me go to the overly confident Chad. Big mistake. The next day, I go to school and everybody knows except my crush. Everyone goes up to me and says, "Is it true that you like?" And I would shush them. Then I look for Chad and he tells me to do things that will embarrass me or he'll tell my crush I like her. I get urinated and follow his orders and wished I would die during every second of it. I've done big pranks such as throwing cheese on the walls of the bathroom and filing the toilets with sticky notes, so I knew I could do something to get back at him. It took me a year and 3 months for me to get Operation Domino to operate. The plan was for everything to lead up to one big event. I wish Chad didn't ruin my chances with this girl because she was super nice to me and he threw my chances out the window. I later became friends with all the girls and this made Chad and other shallow poss hate me for thinking I was trying to be a Chad with all the girls as well. The girls had boyfriends as well, so I was friends with them too and became popular again. I knew people like Chad called me homosexual and a homosexual, but I couldn't give a shoot back to Operation Domino. Put tape on every camera in the school, dump paint and Cheez-Its in Chad's locker. This was perfect because it stank like shoot. Later that night and our school had a rat or mouse problem, I don't remember which. Then put a dent in his locker which made his locker door lock and open at random. The next day he opened his locker and screamed like a banshee at the sight of 3 little critters in his locker. Everyone laughed at him and rumors said he peed his pants a little. I walked home with a smile on my face, then realized that this guy gave me trust issues and brought my self-esteem down so many times. He ended my best friendship and gave me so much anxiety. I wanted him out of my life completely and checked his Instagram to see that he deleted it. Then I check his Facebook on my mom's account to see he deleted it. I was surprised that he took this embarrassment very seriously. Then I take apart my alarm clock and make it as compact as possible and put it into a small box and set it to full volume and make it go off at Spanish class. I plant the clock in Chad's backpack and wait. Our school is extremely strict on using phones, so detention was a risk for anyone with a phone in their backpack unless you hid it and put do not disturb on. Our Spanish teacher is old and hates phones, and when he hears the alarm clock he sends Chad to the office. On top of that, I made the alarm play Love Fool by the Cardigans so everyone would laugh. My friends knew my last step of the operation, but they found out Chad's crush, so I told her and turns out she liked me. Abuse my girlfriend? Okay. By Horsefucker88. Hey. I uploaded a more detailed, yet excruciatingly violent version of this story which I took down because it had violated one of the rules of this subreddit. I'll probably upload the true version on r/nuclear revenge, because during the revenge, he literally gets destroyed. The actual revenge is too much for this subreddit, and I apologize to the two first initial viewers to this story. A part of it is indeed a pro-revenge, so here it goes again. I'm in a relationship with this beautiful, amazing girl. She has always been there for me, supported me through and through the toughest points of life, my academics, family problems, and even going as far to comfort and calm me down during episodes of my panic attack, which is difficult feat to acquire. Over time, I have stopped taking my antidepressants because life has become way easier thanks to her, and a couple of my best friends. I'm now a clean, young healthy man with several hobbies and socializes more easily with people, which is something that wasn't always the case. Mostly thanks to her. There's a lot to how this amazing girl changed my life and what issues that have been clear because of her, but this isn't what you came for. Needless to say, I love her. Here's the fucked up part. Before she got into a relationship with me, she had a serious relationship with this scummy motherfucker we'll call RL, an abbreviation of his real name. RL dwarfed the definition of mistreatment with his actions against her, cheating on her constantly, stalking, sexual harassing, and lastly, destroying her self-esteem and tearing down her mental strength. Calling her fat, when she was of a perfectly healthy BMI, reducing her to borderline anorexia that worsened her anemic condition, at one point calling her a pig when he forcefully exposes her stomach in a secluded public area. Ignores her most of the time and only comes to her for intimacy. At one point, he followed her home against her own will when she has made clear she doesn't want that, appearing at the front doorstep of her apartment when she was with her girlfriends. Then cheating on her when she told him that her parents in actuality did not allow him to enter the house and she was instead trying to defend their relationship. A true definition of a moron of the highest order. I'm not done yet. After cheating on her multiple times, also cheating on the girls she cheated on her with, he dumped her after found no more use of her, then spread rumors about how he was in the right, claiming that he had been ignored when she was the one constantly asking him to chat or hang, only to be left unread. Fast forward a few months, and with no one else to frick around with in his school, he turned to her. At the time, she was still confused over him and was in horrible mental instability due to the combination of the abusive relationship and stressful academics. So, she took him in, and they so-called made up. A few hours later, he went to another girl's house and made out with her, which at the time, she suspected but did not know and hence didn't confront him about it. As it turns out, he only got back to her because he wanted to go on his first ever third base with her. After 3 days of getting back with her, he once again paid no attention to her texts and then proceeds to slide his hand on her legs towards her no-no zone. She pushed him back, and stormed out of the area. The worst part was that she was the one who apologized. As her birthday approached, she asked him to come down to her chalet party, to which he agreed. But no, this is indeed worse than the fact that she was the one who apologized. He dumped her on her birthday, left her in tears in the evening. Before doing so, he yanked her into a stairway and went second base with her, which was then interrupted as he asked for a breakup. He also asked for a last kiss after breaking up with her, which she reluctantly gave. She was left in tears for hours before she got over that scummy human being, and left with psychological torment of anxiety, trust issues and low self-esteem, all thanks to this idiot. I remember seeing him that day at the party. I also remember really wanting to clock his jaw that it'd pop straight out and make him look like Great Andra. Cue the revenge. He thinks he's a tough guy. Underage smoker, underage drinker, illegal gambler, selling of contraband cigarettes/alcohol to minors, and has a lot of his so-called bad boyfriends who also share some of his vices. He would flaunt all of this on Instagram, and some of the more fucked parts on his more private account, which I found my access to. Casual, and classic morons who think with the so-called glory that they so delusionally think they'd get but instead gets the polar opposite. This was something I did not include in my previously written post that I took down, and if you two are viewing the story now, this wasn't the main revenge cue. Anyways, he thinks he's the shoot and feared by many. I wasn't scared. I compiled all evidences of his school rule breaking and illegal activities, as well as screenshots of his texts asking for sexual favors from 3 of his exes that I got into contact from friends owing me favors. I reported this activity police, as well as sending an angrily written email to the school about how he drunkenly took a urinate at a void deck. Spread about his fucked up actions and conversations to some of my friends in his school and to the friends of mine inside of schools around his school. The word spread like wildfire, and the school and police was also alerted on the aforementioned activities. He was suspended for months, caned, and sent to a rehabilitation center as well as the boys' home for corrective training and community service. His parents are also now divorced partially due to this incident. He was fined by the Health and National Environment Agency for underage smoking and alcohol consumption. His schoolwork has taken a huge toll and he has essentially 0 friends because of all of the rumors. A small act more, and he will be expelled from the school as a build-up to the previous incident. Not forgetting to mention, he sabotaged his other friends for illegal gambling, so he's going to have a nice time when he eventually comes face to face with them, as I found out from one of my buddies in his school. There was another more brutal part of the revenge that I had written here centering around that aspect, not this. This is a side effect to the true story that happened that I didn't want to write out. Don't frick with my girl. Don't psychologically torment someone because it can leave them scarred for life. You could have left her suicidal for all I know. I hope you read this one day, motherfucker. Hey reader, maybe you're better off ending the story here. TLDR. I got my girlfriend's ex in severe consequences because of the abuse he put her through. Edits, grammatical errors. Here is the true revenge. I'm sorry I did this to you. This is highly worse, and it's up to your decision that you chose to read this. Walk in with the mindset that I am indeed a horrible person.